Alright, we're still doing 6.2. We're on the C lesson, which would be the third day that we've done this. Last week we spent time working on the most important portion, which is the actual substitution process. Hopefully you were able to get most of your mistakes out of the way. And grading your quizzes, I saw that most of you got hundreds or 80s. If you were not one of those students and you had issues, be sure that you speak to me so that I can try to help you catch up, because I can tell you that if you don't know how to substitute and you don't get that taken care of, you are slowly going to sink in this quarter and fail this test. So you might want to make sure that you at least speak to me about it. And again, I've given you that time by giving you those chances to kind of discuss it, but make sure you do something to fix it, because again, I can guarantee you that if you don't understand how to do substitution, you're going to have an F at spring break, because everything going up to spring break is dealing with substitution. And if you can't substitute, then obviously you can't do the steps after substitution. So again, I am putting that responsibility on you as pretty much a sophomore now in high school, because we're at the end of the freshman year, which means you're no longer a freshman. You're pretty much ready for your next year. So that is your responsibility. Make sure you take care of that if necessary. Today we're going to do the second of 3 steps, and yes, it is a 3-step process of substitution. The first is to substitute. The second is to find the first value. And so what we're going to do to find the first value is substitute. Obviously there's going to be parentheses there, and again, if you were here Friday, you saw that we distribute, then we usually have to combine some terms, then we have to move a value away from x, and then we solve. Again, it's not so bad of a process. It's actually very repetitive, which is why I think that you can do it if you care to do it. And that is the most important part, is that you actually have to care to do it. So I hope that you do. I hope you're ready to go. Other than that, let's just go ahead and get right to it. Again, by the end of the day, you are going to be asked to do the full process, although in the beginning of the day, you will not have to actually substitute. It would just be the 4 steps that we're doing there. So in this substitution on A, we're going to substitute for x, and we're going to turn this into 3 parentheses 2y plus 3 plus 5y equals 53. And again, why am I moving through that so quickly? Because at this point you should kind of at least understand where that's coming from. But this is where our work for today comes in, and this is what your initial problems are going to look like, is just making sure you know how to do the actual algebra. So you are going to then distribute, and don't forget that means multiply. 3 times 2 is 6 with a y, 3 times 3 is 9, bring down your 5y, and bring down your 53. And again, what we learned is that any time the y's are on the same side, we simply put them together. 6 and 5 make 11y plus 9 equals 53. We then move the weaker number. Remember that 11 is multiplied, 9 is added, which means 9 is the weaker number. And so we then bring down 11y equals 44. And then we divide by 11 to get y is equal to 4. Now on your computer, you will not have to show the minus 9, but I suggest you do it on paper. If you get stuck, you will actually just show this step. Sorry, I can't draw arrows or stars. You'll then show this step and then that step. So the in-between stuff, the minus 9 won't have to be on the computer, and divided by 11 will not have to be on the computer, but everything else will be there, just to make sure you know what's going on. And again, if you get stuck, you need to speak up. You have to let me know that you're not getting it, because if you're not letting me know you're not getting it, then you're sitting at your computer and pretty much just spinning your wheels and staying in the same spot, and then when I quiz you, you're going to do badly. And again, that does not hurt me, it hurts you more than anything else. 4x plus 4y equals 96. Again, I'm assuming you know the substitution part, and if you don't, that's where you need to probably call me over and try to get some help on substitution. Sorry, I just messed up because I was talking too much. So this turns into 4 times 4y plus 4 plus 4y equals 96. Again, this is where your work starts today. But you must now distribute. 4 times 4 is 16y. 4 times 4 is 16. It's a lot of 4's in this problem. Plus 4y equals 96. Once again, you see how it's repetitive. 16y and 4y therefore make 20y plus 16 equals 96. We then move the 16 by subtracting 16, getting 20y equals 80. And then finishing that off by dividing by 20 to get y is equal to 4. And that is that. You might even need to pause the video, because to me the algebra portion of it is so standard that I can't really slow down when I do it because I know that we spent almost a month just doing basic one-step, two-step operations. So I apologize, but again, if you have questions, make sure you speak up. That is where we are now, because the solving portion, I won't say you that you have to know how to solve, but you should be pretty well versed in trying to get that answer. And if not, it is again important for you to speak up and let me know. In this problem, again, we're substituting for y, not x, so we would write 4x plus 2 parentheses 3x plus 5 equals 50. We then distribute this 2, not the 4. We bring down the 4x, making 6x here and 10 there. We then again put our common terms together. 4x and 6x make 10x plus 10, which then equals 50. Subtract 10. 10x equals 40. Divide by 10. And x is equal to 4. Now the good news for today's work is that there are no negatives. And the reason there are no negatives on the computer is because I don't want to confuse you with whether it's a -2, a +2, or anything like that. So the main thing I want to do is make sure you practice again. Distribute, combine, move number, divide number, get your answer. I think you can do that. And I think once you understand the general process, that putting negatives on it should not bother you. I also think that at some point I am going to be giving you bigger numbers, but again, don't worry about that right now. Just understand that today your work is on the very basic level of just practice. We're practicing without any kind of fear of trick problems. There are no trick problems on today's work. The only thing you have to be careful of is, again, is if there's a variable on the bottom that we substitute for instead of the top. And again, all we're going to do is bring down our 3x plus 5, turn our y into 2x plus 2 equals 36. You then distribute your 5 and bring down 3x plus 10x plus 10 equals 36. You then put your 3x and 10x together to make 13x plus 10 equals 36. You then move your 10, and again, I'm sorry I can't slow down, but this is just honestly very straightforward. And again, any issues you have, please raise your hand, have me come over there and talk to you about it so I can try to help you get to where you need to be. Because again, this is very repetitive, and for you, once you understand it, you're going to be tired of it because it honestly just feels like you're just doing the same thing over and over. But again, that is the step that we're doing today, is making sure we know how to find that first answer. So go ahead and go over to your MathXL, get some practice done. There should be some review problems on there. Make sure you look at those also. And again, please work to finish. I have some of you who are starting to put your computers away and you're not done. And at some point I am going to probably react to that, and you don't want me to react to that in my way, because you should be doing your job. Again, if you're not finished, computers should not be put away. Other than that, go ahead and go to your MathXL, and good luck.